Hello guys, so welcome again to my amazing YouTube channel with amazing tutorial content and courses all about programming and software engineering. So today we are going to be integrating the famous Daraja API inside of Android, or we are going to connect M-PESA and Android. So we are going to use Kotlin as our language, but it's still interpretable. If you use Java, it's still the same thing that you're going to follow, because the dependencies or whatever is the same, but maybe the UI will be a bit different because we are going to be using Java Compose to write our specific UI. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all, go to this specific URL, that is developer.safaricom.co.ke, so that you can be able to go to the portal itself. Then you want to choose login or sign up, and then if you don't have an account, you can create the same through this specific page, and then you can now come back and log in. So I'm going to log in and then wait for it to log in. So when I'm in, I can see a list of apps that I currently have. So all of these were just developed for testing purposes. So you're going to go ahead and create a new app and call this M-PESA API tutorial. And then you're going to check all of these options. So the API offers various services. So there is the Lipa na M-PESA. That is customers, or your customers are going to pay that bill to maybe your till number or your business shortcode. Then you also need B2B. This just means business to business. So if you are involving transferring funds from your business to another business, you have to check that. And yeah, I can uncheck this, but these are three basically what we are going to be using, but you can still add more if you would like to. So I'm gonna create my app. Then I see that my app has been created successfully. So this is the app that we've created. So to manage your credentials, so you can see we have some credentials here, like that one, the consumer key and the specific consumer secret. So these are the ones that we are going to use in Android Studio to be setting up that. Then you can go overhead to APIs. Yeah, so you can maybe try and test one of the APIs, like this one for authorization. It's just to generate a token for you to use. So you can, on this right hand side, you can use your project, or you can select your project, in this case the one that I've currently created, and I can just click on this specific button there to test, and I can see that it is successful and that I have received an access token that expires in this specific time. So you can still view in the language that you would like to. They offer a wide range of languages. So we have JSON. In this case is just a JavaScript object, and then we also have C, C#, JavaScript, Java, Go, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, and Swift. So all of this is just basically to give out this particular response that is on this side here. So since there is no Kotlin, but for us we are still going to stick to Java, because Java and Kotlin are kind of related, so the logic will still be the same. So now how do we go ahead and connect the same to Android Studio? So I've just shown you how to create an app. So I'm going to go ahead and open Android Studio, and then I'm going to create a new Android project. In this case, you're going to choose this empty activity here, then go on to next, and then I'm going to say this as a M-PESA tutorial. Maybe I might add STK tutorial, and then I'm going to finish the same, and then I'll wait for the grad to complete building my dependencies, and then now we can go ahead and launch our specific dependency. So this project already, its source code is on my GitHub using the link that I sent in the description. So you can also find this specific project that we are going to do here in the GitHub repository that I did upload in the description of this video. So I'm going to fast forward the video until the grad finishes to build and imports all the dependencies. Okay, so my grad build has completed successfully, and now I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of dependencies that will enable us to add this specific API to, or these API to our project. So I'm going to go ahead and add them. So we are going to need the retrofit dependency. This is just to help us to make this a specific request. So, and for retrofit, you just have to implement or implementation. This is how you add a dependency, and then you have the package name for the same. So it's usually from Square App. In this case, retrofit. I guess retrofit 2 and retrofit. You have to specify the version. So retrofit of 2.90. So you need that one as well. And then the other thing that you need, you also need the converter to JSON. So this is just to handle the responses that may be responded from the Safaricom portal or the Safaricom Daraja portal. So in this case, we also have the same package name, Square App in this case, sorry, retrofit 2. Again, in this case, now we are interested in the converter. In this case is the JSON. Yeah, again, it's still the same version, I guess, like the retrofit version that we had. And then we also need the OKHTTP dependency, and again, and also some logging interceptors. Yeah, so I'm going to add all of them. So I'm going to have implement. So we are going to start with OKHTTP. Again, it still comes from Square App. .OKHTTP version, I guess it's 3. Yeah, and then we have to specify the version that we are going to install in this specific. Yes, it's 4.11.0, the latest version that is currently available. So the other one I need is the logging interceptor. So in this case, it still comes from the same package name, so Square App. Then you have to say it's from HTTP. In this case, it's HTTP 3, and then you say what do you want. In this case, I need the logging interceptor. This can just be used to interpret the specific responses. The version is still the same as the OKHTTP 3. And then we also need the last one, that is for Kotlin. This one is just for Kotlin. In this case, if you require some suspend functions in Kotlin, you can just add this. So the package name is org.JetBrains and JetBrains.Kotlin. In this case, you have to specify what do you want. I want Kotlin X, the coroutines. Yeah, in this case, the platform is Android, and then you specify a version. So I'm gonna leave that to this specific version, and then now I can I'm going to sync my project so that these specific dependencies get added to our project and we'll be able to go. So I'm gonna fast forward the video until this completes setting itself up or it continues to install. So my project has completed syncing. So I'm going to go ahead to my main activity and we are going to create that specific UI. So first of all, I'm going to run this project so that we see if it actually runs. So I ran into an error here and I see, it's the spelling of coroutines. So coroutines doesn't have a U. So I'm going to synchronize that and try to run the same again. And also this square here should be that way. So I've corrected those minor issues. I'm gonna go ahead and try running the project so that we see if everything is set up correctly, and now we can just go ahead and okay, this now I guess I missed something. Yeah, this one should be Kotlin X, not .Kotlin but Kotlin X, because this comes from this specific package. And I'm going to go ahead and synchronize again, and then we are going to run our project. Hopefully we don't get any issues again. As you can see now, the project has completed building successfully. So without wasting much time, you're going to go inside and implement. So the first thing, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my app folder, and then in the manifests folder, I'm going to open this Android manifest file. So first of all, we need the internet permission from the user. So I'm going to go ahead and add the internet permission in this case, so that the user's phone can be able to make API requests through the internet. So I'm going to add this specific permission inside the Android manifest file. Then I'm gonna close out of that. Then here I'm going to create a couple of packages. So the first package is I'm going to name this as network, and then the second package I'm going to name this as repositories, but it just depends on how you set that up, because all of those can still be in one folder. So inside network, I'm going to create one file. In this case is an interface, but I'm going to say, so I'm going to create an interface here and call this Daraja SDK API. So this is just an interface to enable us to make those requests. So, and I'm going to have a post method here. So I'm going to have at post, in this case I'm going to make a call to the sandbox. Yeah, so I'm going to have M-PESA stroke STK push. So this is my specific route, and then V1, and then process request. This is a single request like that, and then this should be inside a suspend function. In this case, let's call this an STK push. So this is just to be used to prompt the specific user to enter a specific pin. So I'm going to have a header there, and I'm going to add the same to the header there. Then I'm going to have a node of string, and then I'm also going to have the body as well. So I'm going to have at body. In this case, the body has the request, that is the STK push request, and I'm going to import these so that the compiler knows what to deal with. So I'm going to import all this. Then here I forgot the return type for this. So this is another class that we are going to create. Then all of these will return an STK push response. Yeah, like that. So that is the first file that we are going to need. So the other file that we need is the Daraja token API file. So I'm going to have Daraja API token. It's just to generate that a specific token. So I'm going to convert this to an interface, and then I'm going to have a get method here, or a get root. In this case, I'm going to get from auth, then version v1, that is generate. Then I have a grant type. So this is just a URL, and the grant type is usually has that specific formatting. So I'm going to have this as client credentials, and then here I'm going to have another suspend function, that is to get access token from the Safaricom or the portal. So I'm going to go ahead and add a header here, that is authorization. So you add a header there, authorization. In this case is an authorization, and this returns a string. And then we have this returning as a token response. So then we need to import a specific. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. And then here I'm going to have get. So this is just another class that we are going to be creating. So the other thing we need is also the retrofit client. So I'm going to have a retrofit client. In this case, first of all, I need an object. In this case, with some variables. So I'm going to have this, and maybe I could try and make this a constant, and then I'm going to pass in the Safaricom sandbox URL. So I'm going to have Safaricom, not Safaricom, but sandbox dot Safaricom .co.ke. So this is just the link to sandbox. So you have that. Then we also need another variable, that is logging, would be just be equal to HTTP logging. logging interceptor. In this case, we apply the same. So here we need some parameters like the level, which is just http login interceptor.level. So I can try and maybe minimize this. Level is a class name, so you just have that as a capital letter, then dot body, and then you can finish on that. Then we also need a client, so I'm going to have private val client being equal to OK HTTP. Yeah, and this is OK HTTP client dot builder, and then there are some, you initialize that, and then you add some parameters. So you add the interceptor. In this case, you have that, and the logging now that we've just created is our interceptor. And then now we have to call the build method so that this specific line can be created. Then you also need the retrofit. So the retrofit, in this case, it's of retrofit, the retrofit class, which be equal to retrofit dot builder again, and then we also need to add some parameters. In this case, base URL, that is the base URL variable that we have just created. We also need the client. In this case, it's just the client that we just created. We also need dot add converter factory. So in this case, the converter factory is just the JSON that we added. So we have a JSON converter factory, and factory is capital R, and then we need to call the create method for the same. Yeah, we need to call the create method, and then lastly we have dot build. Yeah, so that is just basically that a specific file. So we also need the response. So I'm going to create another one. In this case, this is just a data class of the STK push request. So I'm going to have STK push request, and then inside this I'm just going to have some variables. So you need a business shortcode. So this is type string, and you also need val password again. I can have this as a capital. This again is a string. I also need timestamp. Again, it's of type string, and also you also need a transaction type. It's just meaning is it a C2B or a B2C or a B2B, and you can just initialize this with an initial value, that is a transaction time, which is a transaction pay bill online. So we have that, and then we also have amount that the user is going to pay. In this case, again, it's another string, and then we also need and amount is capital A. Then we need the parties that are going to get involved in this specific transaction. So party A again is a string, and we don't have colons. And then we also need party B. Again, this is another string, and also we also need the user's phone number. So we need the phone number. Again, is another string. So we also need the callback URL. So callback URL, which is just sorry for that, is just another string. Then we also need an account reference. Again, this is another string. We also need the transaction date. So transaction date. Let's just transaction descending, so that we just have to sort that out. So that is the data class that you require, and I guess I don't know if there is an error. So this specific class was required somewhere. So okay, it's not here. So we are going to now create this specific class for the push response. So I'm going to create again another data class and call this stk push response. Then inside this data class, I'm going to have a val merchandise request ID. There is the ID of the person that requested this. You have to make this nullable. Then we also need the checkout request ID as well, that did authorize that transaction. Then we also have the response code. Again, it's just another string, a nullable string. Then we have the response description. That is another string. Then we also have, we can have an optional customer message. Again, that is a string. So we've completed this specific file. Then now we can create the last data class, that is the token response. So I'm going to go ahead and add a token response. In this case is a data class with just two. It just requires two variables. The access token, which is a string, and then we also need when is it expired. So expires in, again, is another string. And then now all the errors should be gone. This one we just need to rename that one to that. And then now we are going to go ahead and create the other file, the other two files. So we need the repositories, and I'm going to start with the Daraja repository. So these first of all, I need this to be an object. So an object of Daraja repository. So I'm going to have some configurations here. So a constant value of consumer key, and consumer key is, you get this from your Daraja, from your M-PESA portal. I'm going to show you in a minute. So we also need another parameter, that is consumer secret. Again, this still comes from Safaricom. I'm going to show you how you can get the same. So we have an API as well. You go to the retrofit client, in this case .retrofit. We call the create method and maybe pass some parameter, in this case Daraja API token. In this case it should be a Java class. So we need class.java, and then we need a suspend function here to generate a token. In this case, this just returns a string, and then we have some logic here. So we need authentication plus base 64. In this case, we'll call the encode string. In this case, we are going to convert something, so we'll have consumer key. Again, we'll also need to add consumer key again, not key but secret. Then now after we add these, we are going to convert these to byte array. So we need to call the .byte array function. So I don't know if this can be okay. Let us first of all finish the same. So we need another thing here, that is base 64 dot no wrap. Yeah, we need the flags so that that one can work. Then now we go ahead and still continue setting that up. So we finished these. So we can have another variable, that is response. In this case, this can be equal to the API dot, we call the get access token, and pass the auth instance to the same. And then we have a return statement, because it's a suspend function that returns a string, so we have to return something. So response dot access token is what we are going to be returning in this specific file, and I guess we are through with that. Then the other repository file that we do need is the Daraja STK repository. So we need Daraja STK repository. So in this case, I'll just start by creating an object, and then I'm going to have private constant var of the business shortcode. So I'm going to need the business shortcode. So because we are just testing, we are going to use the default one from Safaricom, that is usually 174. Don't know, 379. Yeah, this is a default business shortcode. That, and this should be that way. So business shortcode is SS. And then we are also going to need the passkey, so the sandbox password. I'm going to show you in a bit how we can retrieve the same. And then we also need private val API being equal to retrofit client. In this case, dot retrofit dot, we call the create method, and then we are creating the Daraja this, and this should be class Java. And then now we can have a suspend function, that is to push the SDK. So remember, in the first place we just had a network, but the actual logic now comes inside here. So in this case, we need some parameters, starting with the token, the phone, which is still a string, the amount, which is still a string, and now all of these must return as STK push response. So we basically have that. And then now inside here we need to add that. So we need a timestamp, in this case just to specify when the transaction was implemented. We are going to implement that function. So we are going to have a password as well, which is another function that we are going to create. So we have, and then pass the timestamp here. And then we also need a request that is equals to stk push response, not response but request. Then we need to supply all the parameters that we did in this. If I hover here, you can see there are quite a number of parameters that we need to pass. So business shortcode is just the business shortcode we created, and the password is just equal to the password that we are going to be having, and the timestamp again is usually equal to that timestamp. And also we need amount. Amount is the amount that the transaction is partaking. And then we also need the party A. Party A in this case is just the phone. We also need party B. In this case is the business shortcode, because this is a C2B. You have to specify from where to where. And then the phone number is just equal to the phone. And then the callback URL. Here you can just supply a default, but if you have maybe a route to save this transaction to the backend of maybe a serverless function or maybe a website like that, you can add the same here. Then you have the account reference. We can just have this as test, and then the transaction descending, or description, sorry, not descending but description, just to test payment. And then here, because it's a suspend function that returns this specific class here, we are going to have a return statement. So what are we going to return? We're going to return the with context. In this case, dispatchers.io. In this case, something has to be done here. So api.stk push. In this case, we have to have some parameters. In this case, the bearer is the token, and also the request. So we are going to implement these functions that we had here. So inside here, I'm going to have a private function that is get timestamp, the one that we did have. In this case, it returns a string. In this case, is equal to call the simple date. It's just we just want to create, or just want that function to create that specific timestamp. So I'm going to have that. So I want that in the form of year, month, day, hour, milliseconds, and seconds. And then I have to pass still some parameters. This is local.get default. And in this case, all of these has to be formatted to a date object. I can try and minimize on this. So import the date from Java util. So the other function that we did need is the generate password. In this case, it required some parameters, so like timestamp, which is actually a string, and all of these returns a string. So we are going to have validator being equal to the business shortcode plus the passkey that we did. This is just to construct the payload for the same. Then we need to return the password for this. In this case, base 64 dot encode to string. In this case, data dot to byte array. So we are trying to generate a unique password to the same, and then here we need to pass this specific option, the figures. So we're going to have base 64 dot no wrap. So we have that at a specific flag, and then here you remove these because we've already imported the correct method. So here you correct the class to import that. Now we should be good to go. So we've basically completed setting up the backend also for the same. So I'm going to go ahead and now come to my main activity, and I'm going to create a composable for the same. So I'm going to have a composable. In this case, I'm going to name this as STK push UI, but you can still name however you'd like to. And then instead of this, I'm going to have the STK push UI. I don't need these, so I refresh this so that we see the new changes. So I might just try to have this here, maybe STK push. So as you can see, the build has completed successfully, and this new message that I did right here is the one that is showing up here. So I'm going to just go ahead and remove this and now implement the logic. So first of all, we need the variables. So token, in this case, because to authorize or to use this specific API, you need a token. And oh, I forgot something you must have to fill: this consumer key and the consumer secret, as well as there was something else here, the passkey. So you are going to go ahead to the M-PESA portal and select one of your projects. So the consumer key and the consumer secret can be seen from here. So I just toggle this and I can be able to copy my consumer key. So I'll copy my consumer key to the repository here, and then I'll be able to also, I can also copy the secret, and then I'm going to add, and then for the passkey, it is a bit, let me say a bit hidden, because you have to come over to the APIs. And then you can choose one of the APIs here, like B2C, not B2C, but C2B. Let me stick to B2C, because that is what we are going to majorly rely on. So C2B here is the one that I'm going to choose. This specifically means that a customer is sending or is making a transaction to a company. So the user is the customer, in the organization that is receiving the funds is just the business. So that's why we have C2B. So I'm going to wait for it to fetch my APIs or fetch my apps, and then I'm going to show the same. So my apps have been detected, and I can just use this project that I did create. So you are going to come over below here to this green button and click on test credentials, and now from this you can be able to obtain your passkey. So I'm going to copy the same and add the same to my code, and now everything should be set up, and we can continue setting up the UI. So in this case, I'm going to remember a mutable state of. In this case, it's just a null value. And then I need to import this as well. And then also import get value and set value. So I need that, and as well I also need some variables. So I'm going to have some val message, in this case by remember again a mutable state of null or an empty string. And then we have another boolean, so it's just related to simulation of fetching fetching the data from the API. So I'm going to have a mutable state of false, and then I'm going to have a column, and now I can maybe pass a modifier, and first of all import column from because column is a composable, and let me try to refresh that as it goes on. So inside here I'll pass some modifier being equal to modifier dot fill max size, in this case because we want it to fill the maximum width, and maybe we can add some padding of about 20 display points, and then here spelling for modifier, and then in this case we can import the extension, and then we also have the vertical alignment. You don't forget to add a comma here. So the vertical alignment, not alignment but arrangement, is arrangement dot center, and then we also have the horizontal alignment, which is alignment dot center horizontal. So we want everything to just appear at the center of the screen. Then we are going to go ahead and add some UI components. We are going to add a button there, and be sure to import a button. In this case, it requires a very important function there. That is, you'll have this as is loading to be okay. Set this is boolean instead of is loading, and then now here I can have is loading being equal to true. This is for the first time the user clicks, is loading will be true because it means he has called that. Then we also need a coroutine scope. In this case, it's just a separate function that is going to run in the background. So we have dispatches.main. In this case, we call the launch method. And then we have some other. So I'm going to first of all import this. Coroutine doesn't have a U. I am fond of writing U. Then we have launch, again needs to be imported. And then now here inside we can have a try catch block. So we have a catch E as an exception, and then we'll know what to do with that exception. So here, because this one should be var, so that this one can be changeable. So now inside this try catch block, we need, let's first of all build this so that it can complete. So here inside this try catch block, we can have a temporary variable to maybe we'll call the repository, in this case the Daraja repository. Then we call the generate token method. So it's just a button to generate a token, so which will equal to, will assign the token to this specific value that has been gotten from the same. And then for the other thing, we can say maybe token will be equal to error. Maybe if any error does occur, and we can have in this case is a full object, so we have e.message. So you might decide to display the message to the user, and then now we have is loading now being equal to false, and then now inside here we can have a text, maybe to just generate a token. So if the user would like to generate a token, they can do the same here. Then here we'll have a spacer with we can pass a modifier. So we just supply a height of about 20 display points, and then here now we have we can add a progress indicator, maybe to just tell the user that the fetching is ongoing. So here we'll render the circular progress indicator. So this is another composable that requires to be circular. It needs to be imported. Then we have that. Then if token dot is not empty, not is empty but is not empty, so we are going to be displaying that specific token here. So we have we can render a text component, maybe say the token again is the specific token, yeah, and then we can have these, and then we can have another button here. First of all, let's add a spacer. So we also need another button to maybe simulate or call the push, the SDK push. Yeah. So first of all, we need to perform a check. So if the token dot is empty, so we need the user to first of all have a valid token. We need to ensure the user makes the request with a valid token. So we can have this and maybe have the message being equal to please ensure you have a token first. So the message can be equal to that, and then this should be inside the return. Then we return what called it, I guess message, was it a var? Should be var, so that it can be reassigned again. So first of all, you can do that check, but if it passes, then we can go on and call the dispatchers again .io, not main this time, io. Again we need to call the launch method, and then we have a try catch. This is dispatchers. Then we have a try catch block here, so we need to catch E as an exception. Then we'll know what to do with that exception. So inside this try catch we might have a response. Okay, we need the Daraja STK repository itself, .push STK, and there are some parameters we need to supply the token, which is just equal to the token that we've just provided in the phone. I'm equal to, here now is where I was telling you we need to use the default Safaricom number, which is this one here. So you cannot use your own mobile number, but I'm still going to show you how you can still use your own mobile number in the coming video. So amount is a string. You can just have that as 1 shilling, maybe just to test it, and then maybe the message being equal to what we will receive. So you can basically have response dot customer message. In this case, this can be nullable, but if we don't receive that, we can have no message. So the response is okay. We are messing that up. So response. So we'll be having that, and then now we can maybe catch the specific error, and maybe the message being equal to error. Now we can have maybe the e dot message, maybe if errors did occur in these operations, and then we are going to have a button to send STK push, and then here we can add the last 2 composables. So we need a spacer as well as another text, but in this case we are going to display the actual message here if the authorization was successful. So that is how you set up the UI. Now we are going to be testing and see if it actually works. So we've completed the UI, and now we are going to be seeing if it actually does work. So I'm going to run this. So let it launch. So the first thing that we are going to use is the token, because we need a token to be able to authorize the user. So I'm going to create generate token, and hopefully I should get the token here. Okay, so it says for phone not found. Let me check from logcat. We are going to go ahead and click on this generate token function, and we can inspect. Okay, yeah, this one, it should be V1, sorry, not VI, it should be V1. Now we can try running the same again. So I'm going to try and generate a token, and hopefully now it should give us the token if the link is correct. So again, another issue. Let me go ahead and confirm. So I'm going to try ahead and generate. So I'm going to try and generate a token. And now, as you can see, my token has been generated, and then I can try to send an STK push. and I get that error. So I'm going to, okay, this one should be like that. Let me try the same again. So I'm going to generate a token, then try. So I need to change these here to V1, and then now I can try to generate a token. And then I send an STK push, and hopefully now, okay, it still gives a new 404. Okay, yeah, I see I messed the spelling for process request. Should be process like that. Then now I can try running the same. So I have my token there, then I can send an STK push, and I check now what the other issue is. Oh, that we have an invalid business shortcode. So again, let us and this one should be a single S, and this one you can rename the same. And this one also should be corrected as well, because you have to match what is provided in the portal itself. So we have that, and then we can refresh the same. So I'm going to generate my token, and hopefully I will get it here, and then now I can send my STK push, and I'll wait for a response. Again, is this. Okay, this time is the timestamp. Oh, timestamp should be a small s, not a capital S. So this one should change. So I'm going to refresh the same and see how you'll go about it, because you have to match these parameters the way they just are here, not here, but we just added them. So you just need to make sure they are those. So I'm going to generate a token. So I have my token, and now I can finally send the STK push, and now as you can see that the success and the request has been accepted for processing. So meaning that if you had a real number, you would receive the pop-up on that number, but here we just receive a success, because Safaricom just assumes that that test number has accepted. So that is why we get that. So that is it, guys. That is how you set up M-PESA API or the Daraja portal to your Android Studio project or Android. So in the coming video, I'm going to show you how you can integrate, or you can connect to a real pay bill number or a real till number, so that you can now receive or use the numbers on a real device. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing week. ahead, and bye bye.